welcome to Queen of Vibes Tarot. I want to welcome you guys to my channel, whether it's your first time or you are a return viewer subscriber. Hopefully this message will be helpful or healing to you in some way. Alright, today we are going to be doing, well, I'm doing it, you guys are going to be watching it, a message from Spirit. Okay, so these are going to be messages about what's going on in your life right now in areas that you need to focus on, or areas that we need to heal. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what Spirit has to say for us. Okay, I'm doing a pick a card, so I want you guys to focus on one of each of these stones. Okay, this is going to be pile number 1. Okay, so it's these 2 hematite magnets. All right, pile number 2 is this chunk of raw, why is this? Citrine. It's totally slipped my mind. Citrine, okay? And then pile number 3, we have the tiger eye stone. Okay, so I want you to really focus on pick a pile, okay? I'm also going to do the timestamp so you can actually look at the numbers on the timestamp, and if those resonate with you, then you go with that. You may resonate with the numbers 1, 2, or 3, so if one of those numbers resonates with you, go with that. So again, pile number 1, hematite, pile number 2, citrine, pile number 3, tiger eye. Okay, pile number 1, let's go ahead and get into your reading. These are messages from Spirit. Okay, so this is going to be guidance about your next steps forward, things that we need to focus on, and just a general idea of what is going on in your life. Okay, but really it's about healing. Okay, areas that we do need to heal and where we can make ourselves better. Alright, so I pulled 4 cards from a chakra deck. Okay, so it's going to be focusing on each of your chakras. I also pulled 2 cards from Wisdom of the House of Night. So these cards will also give you guidance on your situation. And then I pulled 1 card. This is just going to be a positive affirmation to end the reading out with. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start with this chakra cards. Okay, so pile number 1, you got complacency from the root chakra. Okay, also from the root chakra you've got discovery. So for pile number 1, you may be needing to focus on grounding yourself. Okay, we also got from the sacral chakra service. All right, and then from the solar plexus chakra we have joy. All right, so just off of a general glance at this before I get into the real interpretation, I feel like right now for pile number 1, you may be either embarking on a new situation, a new journey where you are perhaps finding ways to fulfill your purpose. Some of you, you may be questioning your purpose. All right, for some of you, you may be feeling stuck or stagnant because you need to enter a phase of self-discovery so that you can see what your actual purpose is. Okay, some of you have a thing of for being of service to others. You're very good at taking care of other people, but right now it's time to also focus some of that attention onto yourself and figure out where there are areas that you can show and receive, I should say, more joy in your life. All right, so let's go ahead and start with pile number 1. Okay, so the root chakra represents grounding. Okay, this represents vitality, your sexual energy, passion. Okay, this is where you have your energy centers. Okay, this represents being forceful and just your overall foundation. So that is really the area that you need to kind of focus in. Okay, so with the first card being complacency, all right, this is basically guiding you to figure out where do you need to find more self-nourishment. Okay, because right now either you're just kind of settling for something, going with the flow. All right, you need to maybe not procrastinate. Procrastination may be an issue for you. For some of you, you need to redefine your dreams because you have a blueprint or you have a dream, and because things are not going the way that you imagined or that you felt like they would always go, you're kind of feeling, like let down. But sometimes it just requires a bit of tweaking. Okay, the dream is still there, but sometimes we just need to tweak how we get there. Okay, also with complacency, this can represent a lack of motivation. All right, so really building up your inner foundation will help you with those things, okay? Next, we have discovery, okay? And so with discovery, again, this is about your self-discovery, your self-care, okay? This is about commitment, all right? For some, this is seeking less than you deserve, okay? Are you happy in your situation? For some of you, it's about leaving the past behind. It's time to leave something behind because you're ready for a new adventure. Okay, you're ready to be uplifted. You're ready to find more satisfaction. All right, and so right now, it's your root chakra needs to be stabilized, and you need to focus on more grounding techniques. All right, moving on to service. This is your sacral chakra. All right, so the sacral chakra represents your emotional center. Okay, it's about motivation, affection. This is where your humanitarianism comes from. Also, emotions and emotional discipline. Okay, so with you having service here, this is about what can I give. Okay, so for some of you, you may be questioning, how can I be of service to people? All right, for some, you may be very compassionate. Okay, you have a lot of strength, but it's also time to find your own personal contentment. All right, with this card, you may also need to ask yourself, are you really seeing life for what it is? This could be representative as an unwillingness to compromise. Or, for some, this is favoritism, okay? Some of you may go all out for certain people, but, not for others, or vice versa. You may be dealing with a family situation where someone is showing favorites, and it really makes you question your own giving. Are you a giver? Are you a taker? But when I see this card coming out, it's showing me that you would do well. That's just your nature. You might have closed it off for whatever reason, but you're a natural giver. All right, now moving on to your last card in this deck, we've got joy. All right, joy coming from the solar plexus. So your solar plexus is about your creativity, intellect. Okay, this is about reasoning and being reasonable, innovation, also wisdom and instinct. Okay, this is your planning process, the planning center. Okay, so with the card joy, this represents maybe a new joyous phase in your life. Okay, it could be a new job or a new marriage. All right, this is basically the moment after you take a leap of faith. So you're not sure what's going to come next, but you experience that freedom and that joy of moving beyond your fear. So for some of you, this may be where you're at, or you may be, just have taken that leap and now, you're moving on. But for some of you, I feel like it's about taking a leap of faith because you have complacency and discovery. So for some of you, you're ready to leap into a new area or a new field, okay? It's also questioning where can you invite more joy into your life, okay? Because for some of you, you have a higher purpose, but you may be detached from your joy, especially if you are feeling complacent or, suffering with complacency and feeling stuck, then you may not be experiencing joy at this time. So it's really about taking a look and seeing, all right, how can I be more joyful? Or what is it that would make me feel more joyous? Okay, where am I not, being present in the moment so that I can enjoy things more? Okay, so let's go ahead and move on now to the next deck that I used in this, and this is the Wisdom of the House of Knights. So in this deck, you got card number 16. Okay, so the number 16 could resonate with you, or the number 7. And this is invisible. Okay, so this is interesting. We also got card number 22. So the number 22 or the number 4 may resonate with you. Letting go. All right, so with this deck, I'm going to read from the guidebook. All right, and we're going to start with card number 16. And that is invisible. And it says, sometimes you may feel like you don't fit in, as if you are invisible to others. And it says, I see you, I know you, and I believe in you. Okay? Know that not everyone has the ability to recognize you fully, and that perhaps they are so caught up in their own stories that they can't see you. It's okay, because those who can see you are the important companions on your path to finding your magic. Another meaning for this symbol you have chosen is that circumstances may require you to step back and remain in the shadows. Now is not the time for you to tell all and show everyone your truth. Being invisible protects you from harm right now so that you can observe your surroundings without being vulnerable. Stay hidden and watch what others do before acting. All right, so again, this is about your self-discovery, and you may feel like you're, being complacent, but sometimes it's about stepping back and seeing what others do. Some of you need to stop being so much of service to others to see where if this is even being reciprocated. Because for some, you're just doing too much, and you're starting to feel despondent because you're not getting that energy back in return. So for some, it's now time for you to take a step back and chill and see what others around you are doing, or see if others around you step up. All right. Now we're going to move on to card number 22. And this is letting go. Okay. So card number 22 says, this symbol comes to you to remind you that freedom is important to everyone. If you love something, set it free. Don't hold on too tight lest you chase it away. You have the freedom at this time to choose whatever you want. Let others do the same. You will be so happy you did. Miracles come when you let go and allow the magic to happen of its own accord. So for some of you, this is you putting in a lot of work, basically filling in the blanks for other people. Because it's like you're trying to be the glue in a situation. Could be a relationship, could be a family situation, could even be at work. And the thing is that, you have to allow either others to shine or fail. All right. It's not your responsibility to make sure that you show up for yourself and then also show up where others are not showing up. Sometimes we need to see where others are not showing up. It needs to be seen so that there can be a restoral of balance, okay, in a situation. So right now, it's about letting go of the need to always be the one to do everything, fix everything, solve everything, and focus on your own self-discovery, your self-healing, and finding more joy in your life by being in the moment and not always feeling like you have to be the one to do everything, because you're really not fulfilled, not as is, okay? Because this is how you're feeling. You're feeling like, you're not really seeing the fruits of your labor. It's like, I'm doing all of this and here I am still sitting here alone, and things around me are kind of dying, and, my life is going by. I may be getting older, and I don't want to end up, older, passing away and feeling like I didn't really accomplish what I wanted to, or I never really enjoyed myself or enjoyed my life, okay? Now, to end out this reading for pile number 1, we have an oracle card message, and it says, the presence of love will always cast out fear. Okay, so where you may be afraid to speak up your mind, you may be afraid. With this service card, a lot of times this indicates also someone who's afraid to speak up from the heart, okay, because you're afraid that others may not be receptive, or they may not like you unless you're always doing, or unless you keep quiet. So this is about love overcomes fear. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. Don't be afraid to do what's right for you, because if you're genuinely acting in the spirit of love, and if those around you are, then there's nothing to fear. All right, pile number 1. So if this resonated with you guys, please be sure to let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video and that you're subscribed to my channel, and hit the notification bell, because everybody's been telling me they didn't know I was still doing videos because they're not getting notified. So make sure you hit the bell so that you don't miss any content. All right, guys, thank you, pile number 1. And now we'll be moving on to pile number 2. Hey there, pile number 2. Okay, so you guys are here because you either resonated with this citrine stone, or you resonate with the number 2, or whatever the timestamp is on this video for this pile, okay? So what we're going to do today is I pulled 4 chakra cards for you to focus on areas of healing and just give us a general idea of what's going on in your life. These are messages from Spirit. So these are areas that Spirit really wants to get your attention in. Okay, so we're going to focus on the chakras. We're also going to focus on, you got one message from the wisdom of the House of Night. So this is actually going to give you guidance from Spirit going forward. And then we also have a daily kind of an affirmation, All right, that's also a message from Spirit, and basically something that you can say to affirm yourself going forward. All right, so first let's go ahead and let's start with the chakra deck. Okay, so we've got 4 cards here. And for you, you've got 2 cards from the sacral chakra. So right now that chakra is needing the most attention from you. All right, we've got guilt and completion. You've also got 1 card from the throat chakra, which is workaholic. And then another card from the crown chakra, which is confusion. So immediately I feel like there's someone who may be a workaholic. You may be working very hard right now to reach a certain goal, but you're putting this goal and you're putting working above living your life, okay? You're not really finding any enjoyment. You may be super successful in your career, or you're trying to become super successful in your career, but other areas of your life may be suffering for it, and you may be experiencing a bit of guilt because of that. You also may be feeling a little bit confused about what you should do, but the thing is that you're not really accepting the guidance that's being sent to you right now. All right, so let's go ahead and let's focus on each card. So the first card you got, no matter how I try to do this, it just always gets a little messy. All right, first card you got was guilt, okay? So some of you may feel guilty for not paying someone attention. If you see the card, you know, this woman's working on her house chores, but there's someone who needs her attention. So this could be a child, a family member, a spouse, you know, something like that. So with the guilt card, this refers to your obligations, okay? This is, you know, your responsibilities. This is also about enabling others. So you may, you know, in order to, because you're feeling guilty about something, you do a lot to pick up the slack for other people. Or you go above and beyond doing, so you do all the chores and you do all the work and you do everything so perfect to make up for the fact that you're not giving someone attention or not loving them the way that you should. But for you, it's easier to focus on the work aspect of it than focus on where it is that you need to kind of, you know, get better or show some, what is it? It just slipped my mind. It'll come back to me. But with guilt, there's a fear of speaking up sometimes because you have a fear of being disliked. Okay, so because you fear people will not want to hear or not be receptive to what you say, then you don't say anything, okay? Because you may be doing things, you may be doing a lot of things that you feel obligated to because you don't want to let anyone down, or you feel like, you know, people won't like you if you're not doing all of this stuff that you're doing. Okay. But it's also about finding your personal power. Okay. I may have said this before, but it's like speaking the truth from your heart. Okay. Really speaking up. You know, for some of you, you may have a child that's going through something, you know, whether they're going through some sort of crisis in their life. You know, you could have been a workaholic and neglected your child, and now you're enabling them. And, you know, so it's like a cycle that's going on here because you're really afraid to hear what this person or your child is going to say about the fact that, you know, well, you weren't there for me, or whatever the case is. Next card we have for the sacral chakra is completion. Okay, so this is about embracing completions and endings. Okay, for some of you, it's time for a new beginning. This is also about cherishing the beauty of life and basically discover what you really love most, okay? What do you value the most? And so what I'm also seeing on this card is, you know, if you see there's a loved one. So this woman, she's at this person's grave, and here goes this loved one who's spirit. So some of you have a loved one that's like looking over you, watching over you. Some of you may have had a loved one that was a workaholic, and maybe, you know, or, you know, you were a workaholic and you neglected to really be there for someone, and now you're feeling guilty because this person has passed on, and you're also working very hard right now because you don't want to face that feeling. You don't want to deal with the issues that come from this. Others of you, you may have a loved one who is feeling a bit guilty because they neglected you, or they feel like they taught you to work very hard but didn't really give you, you know, the ability to really focus on your dreams and what you want. So right now your emotions may be a bit blocked because it's just, you are a bit confused. You know, you have this cross purpose where, you know, working and focusing and your obligations are very important, but then it's almost like you lose yourself because you're not really doing anything to focus on your own self-evolvement, okay? Now, with the sacral chakra having 2 cards here, okay, this is about your emotional discipline, your emotional balance, okay, your motivation, your affection. Are you able to show your affection to other people, or are you an active service type of person? You know, it's like, well, I don't really give a lot of hugs and kisses, but I do a lot. You know, I give a lot of money, or I work a lot, and, you know, some people, you know, they would prefer the hugs and the kisses over, you know, the cars and the houses and the cash or whatever the case is. All right, moving on to your throat chakra, we've got workaholic. Okay, so some of you are working and producing and focusing because there's something that you're trying to avoid. Okay, could be a conversation with this throat chakra. All right, and the throat chakra is about communication, truth, faith, loyalty, spirituality, expression, and your ability to be heard and understood. Because some of you may feel like, you know what, I'm not good at communicating, so I work hard and, you know, I make a lot of money and I do things for others and I give because that's what I'm good at. All right? Excuse me. Also, with this workaholic, are you suffering from burnout? Okay? Are you avoiding problems by work? Being a workaholic can sometimes indicate feelings of inadequacy, okay? And so you need to be careful because, you know, you don't want to work so hard that you're neglecting taking care of yourself. You don't want to work so hard that you miss out on relationships, special moments, you know, family time, and then, you know, it's too late and then you're experiencing guilt. All right. So also with this workaholic card, this also shows me that you have powerful ability to manifest. So it's like basically you don't need to work as hard. You don't need to work as hard as you're doing because you can actually manifest things quite easily. But right now, your emotional center is kind of blocked with feelings of guilt and fear of what's to come and, you know, focusing outwards towards others. All right, and then the last card in the chakra deck is the crown chakra, okay? So we have confusion. Crown chakra focuses on enlightenment, okay? This is the chakra of being, of neutrality, of your consciousness, your purpose, your wisdom, of expansion and unity, okay? So this is more with our connection to the outside world and to spirit and to others around us. So with this card of confusion, this is showing us that there needs to be some sort of clarity, all right? And meditating is a good way to bring you clarity. It's also a good way to enhance your personal power of manifestation, okay? With the confusion, this represents letting go of the need to know the outcome, all right? This is about your spirituality and spiritual support. And also it's about the consequences of our actions. So, you know, bringing this all together, you know, it's one of the two. Either you're the workaholic and you feel guilty and you enable the others around you to make up for this guilt because it's just something that you're avoiding. Some of you, it's avoiding the pain of a loved one that has passed on and you feel guilty because you were not there or you feel like you could have been there enough. Or vice versa, some of you had a loved one who, you know, is guilty or feels guilty because they spent so much time focusing on work and doing all this other things that they didn't really give you or your family the time and attention that you guys deserved, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the wisdom of the House of Night to see what this deck, what guidance it has for you. And we've got loyalty, okay? So let's read from the guidebook. Card number 33, so the number 33 or the number 6 may resonate. And it says, you have chosen the symbol of loyalty, and this means you're being called to stand up for who and what you believe in. Do you know the story of the beautiful red vampire who saw the good in another and remained steadfast in her love against all odds? Loyalty is tested at times, and you may be asked to assess whether others deserve your loyalty. Sometimes you find yourself in a position where it is difficult to speak up for another person, a cause, or even for yourself. Now is the time to be faithful to your best qualities and to leave the rest behind. This is a true test of character. I know you will choose rightly. Stand up for what you believe and be loyal only to what is true and good. All right, so again, the loyalty kind of really is pointing me toward the sacral chakra area of guilt, where you may be enabling others and afraid to speak up right now because you have a fear that others won't be receptive to what you have to say. But, it's only right, it's only healthy to speak your truth, okay? And there's no need for you to be obligated or, feel loyal to a job that doesn't treat you right, or be obligated, to doing family, attending family events if it's not necessary, or, whatever resonates with you. But it's about not feeling like stretching yourself too thin and always feeling like you've got to be the one to handle everything. And, I'm just looking at this completion card, and I feel like it's time to end this phase. It's time to end this phase of doing too much, basically. All right, so we're going to close out your reading, pile number 2, with an affirmation. And it says, my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I'm lost. Okay, so the words that I need when it's time to speak up. So Spirit is saying, listen, we're here to help you. Whatever it is that's on the tip of your tongue, whatever this thing is that you're trying to avoid, and you're putting yourself into all this work and focusing other, being of service, doing too much, feeling guilty, all of this can totally be rectified by you just being more comfortable speaking your truth. And they're here to assist you with that, okay? Some of you have, like I said, an ancestor or family member who is transitioned on that is also here, and they want you to basically do better than they did. They don't want you to make the same mistakes that they did. They feel guilty about how they live their life, and they're here to give you guidance and help you to live your best life. All right, pile number 2. So if that resonated with you guys, be sure to let me know. Be sure to like the comments. Be sure to like the video, comment. Let me know that this resonated. Make sure you subscribe and you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss my videos. All right, guys, when I drop them. All right, pile number 2. So thank you guys for being here. And now we're going to move on to pile number 3. Hey there, pile number 3. So you are here for this reading because you may have resonated with this tiger eye stone, or you resonated with the number 3, or you resonated with the timestamp for this reading, okay? So this reading is a message from Spirit, and they're going to basically let you know areas that you need to focus on for healing. Sometimes you may be getting messages from passed away family members or ancestors, or just Spirit itself trying to connect you and guide you through maybe a difficult circumstances, or, for those of you who are looking to move on to a next level or whatever. So we'll see what messages you have. I also have a card from the Wisdom of the House of Night. You've got one card as a message, and then I'm going to end the reading out with a healing affirmation. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your chakra cards, okay? So you've got one third eye chakra card, and this is forgiveness. All right, let me move these. Then you've got a crown chakra card for destiny. You've got a sacral chakra card for facade. And then we have a throat chakra card for quest. All right, so let me kind of put these in order. So we've got solar plexus, throat, third eye, crown. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what Spirit is trying or wanting you to know. First card is facade, okay? And this card is about, who are you pretending to be? All right, some of you are pretending to be someone that you're not. All right, you're putting on a front. Some of you may be wearing a mask. With the card facade, it's time to reclaim your life. All right, it's time to heal some wound from your childhood. Okay, so for some of you, there may be a childhood wound connected to your father or perhaps even your grandfather. All right, but with the facade, it's also for some of you about disassociating from yourself. Okay, so again, it's just time for you to take back your power. All right. The next card you have is Quest. This is your throat chakra. Oh, so back to, I'm sorry, Fasad. For the solar plexus, this is your creative center, okay? Your planning center. This is intellect, reasonable or reasoning, your innovation, your wisdom, your instinct, okay? So it's time to rely on your instincts and really be innovative and be who you are. Some of you may be trying to follow the crowd or impress others or be who you think that others want you to be. And we've got Quest. This is your throat chakra. So this Quest card is that it's time for you to possibly take a risk. For some of you, the risk is being yourself, taking that mask off and showing people who you truly are. Okay? But this is also about this is also about your path, okay? Committing to your path. Some of you have, you're on a journey of self-discovery, all right? This is about being open to wisdom. And some of you imagine, your imagination gets the best of you sometime, and you imagine things that may be, dangerous, or this is going to happen. I don't want to try this because this may happen. But that's all in your head. It's all in your head, okay? So definitely thinking that it's time for you to branch out. You may feel uncomfortable being yourself, but, Spirit is here to guide you. And for some of you, you learned very early in life, also picking that up with this forgiveness card, but some of you learned very early in life to be fake. All right. Maybe you felt like you couldn't be who you needed to be around your parents. Your parents were hard on you, or, you were very sensitive and you grew up in a family that was kind of tough. Oh, yeah, we don't have time for that crying, whatever. But some of you have created a persona that, was to compensate for not being able to speak up, or compensate for areas where you felt like you couldn't express yourself or be yourself. All right, and so now we're going to move on to the next card, which is forgiveness. All right, so this is a third eye chakra card. All right, and this card is about seeing the unseen. This is about guidance, okay, spiritual guidance, intuition, secrets, mystery, your inner child, and sixth sense. So some of you may be very intuitive, okay? You may be very intuitive. You may have a sixth sense. You just know things. You can sense things, and you can feel things. But for some of you, there is a childhood wound that you have here. But all of these cards are indicating to me, because 3 of these cards have young children in the card. So for some of you, you may have had a difficult or painful childhood. And in order to deal with that pain, you kind of created this alter ego. You created this maybe tough exterior. But there is something that you need to forgive. And forgiveness is not necessarily always for the other person. Forgiveness, especially with this card, you're being guided to forgive those who hurt you, or forgive yourself for loving people who hurt you. Okay, so again, this is something that has gone back to your childhood. All right, this is time for family healing. All right, you may suffer from issues. I don't know why I'm stuttering. This, to me, it's almost like this is how you feel. Like you have one thing that you want to say, but you feel like, it's not going to be received, or people are not going to be receptive to it. So then you say or do whatever you think is going to be acceptable. You suffer from feelings of belonging. Okay? But for now, it's time for you to focus on your personal evolution. Okay? It's time for you to heal. It's time for you to get over what has happened to you. Deal with it, face it, but also, move on. For your inner child really needs a lot of attention. Okay? It's tucked away deep inside you, under this exterior, under this mask that you've created. The final card that you have, pile number 3, is the Destiny card from the Crown Chakra. Crown Chakra represents enlightenment, consciousness, your purpose, all right, wisdom, expansion, and unity. Unity. So with the Destiny card, it's also a card that indicates it may be time for you to take a risk. Take a risk. Be yourself. See what happens. See how much people really like you when you're really being your true self. All right, this card is also asking you, are you ready for your destiny? All right, this card is a positive omen. So this is a message from Spirit that it's okay. Whatever that step is that you've been contemplating, this fear that you have of revealing, some of you may have something that you do, on the side that people don't know about because you think they're going to judge you or you're afraid they're going to find out. And, it's your destiny. So how long are you going to hide that? You're hiding. You're running from your destiny, basically. Okay. And this is also about being taken seriously. But right now, you're also being... Spirit wants you to know that you are being guided by your angels. Okay, so I'm hearing like you are ready for this. You are ready for this next step. It's like this is the moment you've been waiting for, and it's time for you to just jump at it and grab it. Because the success that comes with this will also go a long way into helping you heal this inner child wound that you have. Okay, I feel like for you, you were taught a lot of lessons by your elders. All right. And I feel like you got a lot of tough love. I don't think it was necessarily, that you were maybe hurt. I just think you were a very sensitive soul, especially the fact that you seem to be very intuitive and have these gifts. Some of you may have the gift of mediumship or psychic abilities, and you don't want anyone to know that because you think they won't accept it. Others of you have a need to impress your family, impress the older generation. But, they were just a guidepost, okay? And maybe they were harsh because they, grew up under a harsh regime or whatever the case is. But you're a student of spirit. You're a student of the divine. You're a student of, very... Like, I feel like you have a very spiritual side, whether you tap into it or you tap into it on your own time. A lot of people don't know, but it's time for you to really embrace that. Okay. All right. So let's move on to your guidance card. So this is Wisdom of the House of Night. This is card number 23. So the number 23 may resonate with you, or the number 5. And this card is the card of listening. All right, so it says, drawing this symbol indicates that you are meant to listen to what others are saying with their gestures rather than their words. Okay, it says, in my house of night, there will be a beautiful girl with the skin the color of dark honey who has the gift of poetry. She's able to weave tales with great detail and expression, yet without being obvious or straightforward. Reading between the lines and finding true meaning or what are required right now. Listen and learn. What others don't say is as important as this moment. Brown skin girl, the color of honey, guys, that means you gotta listen to me. But no. So right now, I really feel like it's time to listen to your intuition. I really feel like you've been getting a lot of downloads. You've been getting a lot of nudges from spirit. You've been getting a lot of coincidences, things to kind of catch your attention, because it's like, listen, with the facade card and being so concerned about what others think of you, I feel like you pay attention, a lot more attention to what people say than their actions. Sometimes people have a way of showing you that they are proud of you or that they believe in you, but they may not necessarily know how to express that. So sometimes you're waiting to hear some type of verbal expression or some type of encouragement that doesn't always come. But the action of someone trying to guide you, whether it was tough love or whether, it wasn't things that really resonated with you, pay attention to the fact that this person cares about you, or they cared enough to try to impart what they felt was helpful information to you. So when someone cares about you that much, I know that, we have this fear of disappointing people, but they just want to see you thrive. So if whatever it is that you're hiding, or this part of yourself that you don't want people to know, if this is something that you are thriving or will help you to thrive, then they can only but be happy for you. Okay? And if they're not,